Ms. P?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That's what make sure. Let's look at things.
No, we're just.
No.
You want to sit on?
I America's like you were. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Madam Clerk Treasurer, can you call me roll, please?
I should also. Council President, Director Heidi.
Here, ma'am.
Council Vice President, Mike Wolfson.
Here.
Councilmember Joe Seeker. Councilmember Ed Loud. Councilmember Anna P. Here.
All right, we have the consent agenda. I'm assuming all of you already had time to look at that. I know Erica had an issue she wanted to make. I'll go ahead and cover the floor to her for that.
Yes, I've added to the claims register an invoice to Power Company for community crossings grant work, that was done, or the actual asphalt work. The total is $261,109.83. So
Does
that's,
that square us up with the asphalt contract?
Yes.
Okay. And I understand somebody was delayed on getting you some information in order for you guys to make that payment. Is that correct?
Yeah, we were waiting on a payout from the inspection engineering deal.
Perfect. Does anybody else have any other questions on the consent agenda? Been attached some of the minutes from the committee meetings? The only thing I had a question on, it looked like when I was looking at Exos, they had their monthly billing, and then we had a rather substantial billing for what they call a rebuild.
That was a network rebuild you guys approved about 3.5 months ago at the council meeting. We talked about the police infrastructure and all that. So
I forgot the substance.
I understand, it's been a little bit.
Yeah. So thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it. I didn't know if we had anything else coming along that lines, or they got addressed completely with that.
No, all the network rebuild and everything is taking place and been completed now, so.
Okay.
I think that bill was, I'm pretty sure that was for 50% that we paid.
Okay.
The first half.
Thank you so much. Anybody else have any other questions regarding the consent agenda or any other items in there? Joe, you? Okay, I'll entertain a motion for. Make it so. Do I have a second?
Okay.
Second for this meeting. I have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify please by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 4-0. All right, citizen comments. From citizens. Staff reports. Chief.
Thank you for those who were able to make it to our bird weaving contest. That was actually a very successful event.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and Moses was our dominant bird reader. Yeah. Apparently was looking at some videos and figuring out how to win the whole competition. That ended up being really good. Our bus driver came and picked up a lot of the gifts, and she actually came today and picked up some more of the food that was donated. We have a lot of donations that we picked up over the past couple of days, so that was really a whole success and all. And I appreciate Matt Hadley for being the driving force on that, so. Good time, good time. I don't have anything else really, unless you have questions for me.
That's coming tomorrow. Ladies, you know anything for the chief?
I do have one question, I guess. The Pine Ridge for the pet resort. Does he go there, like, there was $1,000 charge for that?
Yeah, that's for the whole year for 2026. So
Okay.
when the handler's on vacation, that's where he's boarded at. That's so,
Okay.
or when he's out of town or on trainings or for whatever reason, and that's just for the entire year.
Okay, that makes a lot.
Yes.
That's all I have.
You're saying when this list returns, I thought you had returns every year.
Yeah, so I did want to talk about snow and ice removal a little bit, because we're making some changes there. We had a lot of issues with our salt spreader on the last go around. So we actually ordered a new salt spreader that will be in, it says Christmas Eve, but we're gonna guess it's gonna come in after the new year. That old one's working, but that'll move to our backup salt spreader, and, this one will be the new one, going forward, but. Also, Everett and I worked together, put down a plan of how to be a little bit more aggressive in the cold weather, so we ordered, 250 gallons of beet juice, beet sugar beet juice to, use as a salt additive. De-sugared beet juice is the strongest salt booster, stone ice melter out there in general, it really makes salt effective and melt ice down to -40 below. Regular rock salt stops being effective around 15 degrees, and treated salt becomes essentially effective around 0 to -10, depending on weather conditions. So it helps a lot with that persistent ice buildup and caking that you tend to get. We're also looking at brine storage tank and a briner that can also add beet juice in with brine, but brine uses about 30% of the salt, the actual salt treatment, and when you mix that with the beet juice and add that all in, you get pretty potent stone.
Still, we should water softener, I assume, right?
Similar in a way, yeah, so it's rock salt and water, really, it's truly brine, you just have a spray application, and there's a fan tip for pre-treatment, so you can get that layer on the road, and then there's a jet tip where you're trying to break up ice and stuff. It can typically you can melt up ice normally in about 30 minutes versus a couple hours for rock salt, just because it's more effective and activated. So that's kind of what we're trying to do move forward. I've been wanting to use the beet juice for a while, but it hadn't been as usually more or as widely used as it has been now. So there's a lot of good information out there. Several of the DOTs use it. Some of the states where the legislatures have banned rock salt, they use beet juice and sand only now. Because they ban salt just because of the water quality and concrete impact that feels like that. So, yeah, beet juice actually got delivered today. And we just see how the beet juice and then giant tank. Yeah, it's like a brownish red, so like it looks kind of funky brown going out, but yes, they take the sugar out of it, and then yeah, it's just beet juice. So
It works. I was quite happy last time, I'll tell you this, last time the timing was much better, I thought. So if I'm gonna complain, I gotta get compliments when it's due, so tell ever, whoever put on the street was doing their job this time.
maybe never for like this.
Yeah, I wanna hear it again. I get it.
And had Converse.
Yeah, she had kind of the reverse situation this time.
It was a difficult storm to fight, like it was a challenging one, and that's part of why we talked about these new procedures too, is just being able to burn on the ice. Our roads are still better than Marion County, Hancock Counties, but I drove through some other municipalities, and we're pretty good for this area. There's some other areas that I was literally looking at their operations, and I'm like, what do we do to get the drive payment they have right now that others don't? A lot of that's the brine and beet juice.
Excellent, that makes a lot of sense, actually. It's chemistry, right?
Yep,
You have anything else, sir?
that's it. So,
Okay, we'll move on to old business. And I believe I need to make or request a motion to suspend the rules to hear regarding a plan on Parkview, is that correct? On the playground area between the city and the developer?
it's the phase one parkland donation, for the park that we have the DNR grant for that we can put the developer on.
So since that got finished after the agenda was posted, I'll need a motion and a second to suspend the rules.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second, any initial discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye, please. Aye. Opposed? Okay, Mr. Lips.
The attorneys were working on this with Brown Development, the developers, attorneys, and both gotten a chance to review that. Our attorneys are good with that. This is for section 1 of the neighborhood that's been built, so everything kind of on the southern end of the property. Christine went out with them and staff and looked at the plantings, and they went back and updated some of that, but we are ready to receive it, similar to how we do roads dedication or something like that with the development. So it's part of our DNR grant to accept that. They have the conveyance documents of the surveys. Everyone has that. You send it out to everyone. Is it in the packet?
In the back.
Okay, so that's in your packet. It's got the survey done by the developer and everything. So it's basically that big grassy area that has the trail going through it and across from the boulevard south. And then, if you go into the center of the neighborhood along the drainage area, is the land around there. There's still have the maintenance of drainage and those type of items for like their, HOA developments, but this is the parkland that would be built out with the Parks Board and DNR.
I read the document, I did have two questions myself. The very first one was, they will take care of the initial landscaping, grass, things like that,
Yeah.
before we do the rebuild part, which is fine. The second one is, on the very next part, talked about the drainage, developing that initially would be their responsibility also to make sure drainage is in, correct?
Correct.
Who's gonna maintain that drainage? Because we're taking this out.
You say long-term, it would be dedicated to the town, similar to other things where it's like the actual drainage infrastructure, like where you get into like their ponds and stuff, that'll be HOA.
Okay, and we're okay with doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my only two questions.
Yeah, it's the same thing we do in any other neighborhood as far as the drainage goes.
I have a question. I know there was some talk about, the developer selling. Or, I don't know, but anyway, I noticed that the document did not have anywhere for, binding on like heirs or assigns or successors or something like that.
I don't know, I mean, there's not a whole lot there infrastructure wise that I'd be concerned on.
I mean, the agreement,
The agreement.
the agreement, like if somebody else would require it, like,
Require the development,
yeah.
so,
Somebody else would require the development is, would our agreement still be effective? Even though it would just be with Connection Heights.
yeah, because we're taking ownership of it, so like they're donating the ownership of it, so, yeah.
And I think the agreement also said, correct me if I'm wrong, both parties would have to agree to make a change, so even if somebody else took it and didn't like it,
Right.
both parties would have to agree to include.
Yeah, and some of the items that we
Mid-party.
typically be worried about are part of actually like their PUD and things like that, so anybody that would purchase it would still be held to those through their PUD.
Okay, that's what I was wanting to,
Yeah, sorry, was it?
No, that, he's trying to change his hands.
Yeah.
Should we get a question from you? No? No. All right, there's no other additional questions from Mr. Lips, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve our donation agreement.
Second. I have a motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? 4 ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, consider, the Axon VR purchase. Captain Wagner.
Good evening, everyone. I'm gonna try not to be too long-winded. Hopefully you guys had a chance to read the proposal. Earlier this year, we transitioned from our TASER X2 devices to the new X10, TASER 10 devices. We had the X2s for about a decade, so this is a kind of a big switch for us, but the two devices are very different. The older devices, the X2s, were kind of a single shot, 2 pros will shoot one time. Hopefully you made your target. If you didn't, you had one more shot, make that effective. If you didn't make that one, the device kind of becomes a brick in your hand at that point. So the new devices are each probe, there's 10 probes in each magazine. Each probe is shot independently. You shoot once, the officer then has to shoot twice to make it net. If they don't make it connect, they have a third, all the way up to 10 to make that work. So obviously, some guys using these for a decade, then transitioning to these is a pretty big shift in their physical, how they train with it, how they use it, how they re-engage people with it. Previously, we had one training per year for tasers. What we were required to do is basically a 2-hour session where an officer would come in, do a PowerPoint, do a quick test, to do another live firing situation. They fire one time at a target, make sure it connects, make sure the taser works, and you're done. For this TASER 10 device, because it's so different, we were able to train for about 4 hours. Everybody trained on that. That's what it was. Got to shoot once, and that's kind of where we were at. Chief and Captain Crook actually went to a luncheon in Johnson County where Axon representatives were there, speaking with a lot of law enforcement about issues of training. During that, they were able to acquire a 30-day trial of Axon's VR virtual reality training device. So we did a 30-day trial of that, and it was pretty beneficial for us. Completely immersive. It's a Vive brand. I don't know if you guys are familiar with VR technology, but comes in a nice case. They have a VR headset. There's a tablet, 2 holsters, which are one's a mock firearm that is 3 light hours, and one is a mock TASER 10 device. You can log on. For the trial, they only gave us certain software aspects that we could just test with, but there's a plethora of actual software that you can use to train their simulators. There's real life scenarios where it shows the officer in a situation with other live officers. They have to make decisions, they have to talk, try to de-escalate the situation. A TASER instructor can have the tablet, make decisions, make things happen. So if an officer is not using their voice, not de-escalating properly, they can say, okay, well, we're gonna escalate the situation, now they have to do this, now they have to do that. It makes the officer transition between weapons as well. Again, it's that brain thinking, the critical thinking happening, the de-escalation tactics, which we obviously want and expect our officers to use first, before they use force. It continues to do all that. So we had everybody try that more of the month. It was used quite a lot. A lot of our guys were very happy with that. Seeing that they were able to train more than just the 1 live firing per year was a big part of that. So that's kind of the virtual reality thing. We have talked to Axon, our rep, about wiring one of those. What we didn't get to try out was a rifle controller as well. There's an aspect on there where you can do building searches, do some other kind of vehicle tactics and things like that with an actual rifle controller as well, which again knocks pretty closely to what we currently have. So with this, the cost this is a big thing, of course. Traditionally, again, we had 1 training per year for TASER. It was a 2-hour course. Guys would come in on their off time, pay overtime, pay for the ammunition, they shoot once, and we hope that they used it correctly the rest of the time. With this VR system, we can actually train 20 times more a year. You guys can do it while they're working, come to the squadron, hook up the device, make sure everything's safe, do a half an hour, 2 hours, whatever we can do. Train, your brain doesn't know the difference if you're not in a live scenario. It thinks it's happening, it gets them to think about these things. Call comes out, quickly does a machine up and go to your call. So it creates a lot more training for us. And it obviously takes away a lot more of the cost. 1 TASER Pro for these TASER 10s is $24. They carry 10 of them at a time, so it's $240 on the belts right there. If we were to fire as many as you could with a VR, like 2 hours on the VR, I could probably shoot 10,000 pros, just depending on what training I was doing. So you times that by $24 per probe, and you're already at quite an extreme amount. As well as being able to use this VR while you're on duty, the officers don't have to come in on their off times, they don't have to mess with scheduling, we don't have to worry about manpower, we don't have to pay budgetary overtime costs. And again, we're getting more training than we already had to do. That's pretty close to what I have, and welcome questions.
The other part of that too is what we did not know when we went to that meeting is that VR is a requirement by TASER for people. We were one of the 2 agencies that found that out when we were down there, and that was something that Axon had presented to us going forward. So that was something we didn't know about. That was part of the package deal that they're doing going forward.
They've had a lot of departments coming to them, talking to them, saying training wasn't enough. These devices are different than what they were used to. People need more training. They've kind of made that part of the model now when you're buying a VR, when you buy the new TASER devices. Obviously, we've already bought ours. We're in a contract with them for that already. So this would be an add-on.
The other component is too, with the, having the firearm added to that, that takes away the need of having to go to the range 4 times a year and have to shoot out all the ammo that we do out there. That is also the overtime, trying to make arrangements to even get the range as difficult as it is. But that reduces the overtime, having the range master out there and having him out there for consecutive days and trying to find replacement for that person on duty. It helps us out there.
Will you guys go first?
We already know Brett's.
Any idea?
No,
Michael? Are you going to, is there some sort of minimum hours you're going to strive for to make sure that everybody's in compliance?
Yeah, so with this device comes licenses for every user, will have their own kind of login, so it will track their hours that they're on there, show what we're doing. But it'll also identify problems, so if they're missing a lot, or if there's a misfire of this, or they're not transitioning within a time limit the program wants them to, we kind of flags that to our. We have 4 TASER instructors currently, they'll have extra access to kind of see people and make sure the training is being done properly. But yeah, we will have a policy procedure in place, obviously, for care of the equipment. And we're gonna strive for 2 hours a month per officer, kind of start there, see where we're at. If we think we can do more, right, then we're gonna do some more. If we think that it's taxing and taking away from our normal duties, then we can kind of reevaluate.
There's not a minimum that acts in.
No, they don't require anything.
Right.
I know what you want, that it's department based.
Okay. Jill? Okay. So it said in the opening paragraph, when you start on page 1, that it takes a whole shift for somebody to get used to firing like these. I've done this a day or two. I have actually 10. I don't know anybody who took the whole shift.
Can you point out where that says that? I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't have it right, I can find it if you want to. Look. Because you were talking about trying to support your overtime costs. These 2 devices, this is second paragraph, midway down. These 2 devices are vastly different and require a shift in deployment mechanic.
I think
It's talking about ILEA for a lot of years, does cycle motor skills, done, I actually intend, you gotta take a shift.
I think you're different means understand word shift.
Shift, you guys 12 hours, right?
No, it's not shift.
Change.
The change does not change.
Okay, that's okay. Don't worry, I'm supporting that. I can tell you, we got the accident 10, I don't know where this requirement's coming from, because ours is still being taught off PowerPoints. So I'm not sure, and I
That's
know
what we
we
want to try to get.
I know there's, we finished, I know there's other agencies out there that haven't purchased it, namely. Police. So I'm not sure how they're able to pick and choose, not necessarily on you, how the company's able to pick and choose who they enforce that.
So they said January 26th, this is going to be the requirement moving forward. If you're going to purchase the devices, they are going to bundle it in the R system.
So we're not bound to it as of right now, purchasing the accident.
And we do, yeah, there's nothing forcing us to do it. We strongly advocate for it. I think it's going to, again, help our guys train better. Hopefully, reduce any civil liability against us for them misusing it or overusing it or, overuse force or something like that.
The other part of us asking today and doing this end of the year is because of the price increase that's coming with
In
the January
The price doesn't look nothing really go higher in.
with that bundle.
How long the accident intends projected to be good for, like you said, you have X2s now, 2 to 10 years roughly. It's pretty standard right now on transition to the new type of taser.
It just kind of depends. There's been 2 tasers in between the X2 and the 10 that we didn't opt to go for.
Right.
Because we kept them at 2s and they were fine, they were working for us. They got fallen out of warranty, obviously, we started having a lot of battery issues. The ammunition wasn't being made as much, so it was harder to get the ammunition. Obviously, Axon wants you to get their brightest and best new.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, throw a discharge, report discharge all the probes.
Sure.
Now discharge the bottom and the top.
right, well, yes, they go wherever you put it.
Right.
Yeah, and it's, again, it's a lot different. Having the PowerPoint and then the live firing round and then being able to go into VR. I learned a lot more with that VR system just because the reps were there, you're doing a lot more. It's pretty stressful, some of those scenarios they want to put you in, and it actually creates you know, as much as we can in training, try to make it high stress.
It's the same idea as the sailor sheet, it used to have shoot or don't shoot.
Right.
Yes, yeah, and even more with this, I mean, it's, that's all you see, you can't see your buddies, you can't hear any of that stuff, the audio's right there. It's a lot more immersive than I say that fast machine used to be.
And I talked to Chief about this earlier today, and I get it, that range time is difficult here.
Extremely for us.
Yes, and there's very good reasons for it, I'm going to drag out here at the meeting, but I talked to my chief today about it. I realize the cost of ammunition is going up, especially since COVID, I get that, there's
Yes.
an offset.
Yes.
Here's my issue, we're not required to have it right now. You know. Mark, I was certified trainer too, and I teach the ILA also. I'm all keen on training. But here's my problem. You know what's going to happen. We'll buy this. I'm not sure on the number you use on somebody who could train 20 hours of life, could in there, or
20 times more a year.
Yeah, you bring me that officer's gonna train like 20 times, I wanna talk to him. Anyway.
I was
Most of
thinking every day what it is.
Most of them are like, what's my minimum I'm gonna do this year? We're gonna buy this. At $11,000 a year for a 4-year contract. Then the next time we come out with a new generation of taser, oh, you can't use that one, you'll have to use this one. I'm in the thought process right now, if it's not required, I'd rather push it off until it is. We may have to fight this bullet later, we buy new tasers again in 5 and 10 years.
That's, yeah.
But yeah, for what they're charging, for what I think our training, our bang for a buck will be. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing it.
And, you know, part of this conference as well is halfway through, they give you a refresh, they refresh all the equipment as well, give us the newest stuff.
Right.
You know, obviously with that is also licenses for our users, it's the updates as well, the newer software that comes out, all that stuff, newer scenarios they put in. You know, obviously Axon has to video those things and have actors, all that stuff, so. Creating new scenarios for us, new programs. That's also
It doesn't
good.
have value. I give you that, it has value. I don't think it's that necessary.
I'm questioning the liability of not doing it. Is what I'm questioning. You know, like if, you know, somebody had a heart attack and died or whatever, and, well, you know, training. I don't know, and that's a legal question, but
Training still required, whether you have these or not, you still have to go through training every year to be certified.
It's basically an hour, it's an hour PowerPoint and test a year, what Taser requires. That's it. So,
it's not much.
nowhere near, no, I mean, nowhere near what we should expect from our officers to have. And again, it's not just Taser that we're able to train on, it's the de-escalation tactics, it's so that we don't have to use the Taser. Is the best part about that too, is we can train these officers to talk, use their mouth, use their words, see if they can handle it before they have to use that Taser. It also helps with the building searches, with firearms, being able to transition. You know, it mimics all of that, and the brain understands it as, okay, well, this is a live action, this is what we're really doing. So when they get into those scenarios and they revert back to training, we can say, well, they've had a lot more training than other departments, and that's why that they excel, or whatever like that.
It has value,
Has a lot of value.
I just don't expect this.
Okay.
I mean, it's proportional, right?
Sure.
I mean, I get your coming from what you're saying. If you'd have said, hack this, and I will tell you the other part of this, Mark, and this isn't your fault. Probably bringing it over and letting us actually see the device and look at it. Probably would been a little bit more selling.
I do understand that. They gave us a 30-day trial, we had to return it, or we paid for parts of it, and they want you to try it out before they give you the quote on what the device.
Oh, sure.
So that's kind of how.
I use my analogy later, use on camera, but yes.
Sure, that's kind of that sense there. So,
And there's a lot of videos out there
Yeah, there
to
is.
show you, and we actually, Deuce actually had some on his phone of what they did when they were using it too, so I mean, it's actually really telling.
the nice thing is the device will screen to another TV, and other officers can watch the scenarios that are happening. And they can all kind of talk and debrief about it afterward too, which again helps discussion, helps training, helps that kind of.
Like I say, I have no argument with that. I think it's a,
So this,
or just,
so this is 4-year, right?
It's a 4-year,
Yes, sir.
not 4-year device for now.
Now, they probably won't do this, but I was gonna ask, is there a possibility to just do 1 year to see if we actually get the use out of it that they say we shouldn't do.
I'm not sure, so they've lined it up with our TASER 10 contract and warranty, so it kind of involves that same warranty all the way through to the end of 2029. That's just kind of how they lined it up for us. I can certainly go back and ask that question if that's something interesting.
I think I would have been interested that way, but that or a two-year program, I mean,
Do you know what the cost escalation is in January?
I think it was about 7,000. No one else.
It hard to make sense because once they're trained, they need it every year.
But they have updated different components that add to it. And
Okay,
it's supposed to enhance yearly, so that was the other factor with that too.
okay.
I'm not, I mean, again, I'm not sure what I know it's all kind of broken down, itemized on that quote. I think obviously it's spread out over 4 years, that total cost. I mean, I'm sure there's 1 or 2 years would probably be more, just because it's a more of an upfront cost, because you're still buying equipment. It's not like a lease or anything, it's our equipment anyways.
And even with the enhancement for whether participating in January, we're not even positive on that. That was kind of like a ballpark. And it was hard enough to even give any kind of idea of what we were looking at until we actually got a physical quote from them.
Again, back right now, we talked about the budget. I'll tell you.
Okay, I'll probably get beat up for this because it's not my area, and I know Brett, you're gonna beat me up for it a little bit, but.
What else is new?
Right. I do think underspending in Indiana is very common for police training. We're 47th in the nation for police training. We're about 47% is where we're scorecard when it comes to police incident, which is at a very high ranking compared to the rest of the US. I know not a lot of other agencies are necessarily doing this, and we're not forced to do it, but with the use of force, the escalation and those things, like it doesn't add liability by not having it, but it certainly can reduce liability by training more. And it's something that attorneys can report to in court, say, no, this person was actually trained 20 times this year, and they've gone through these scenarios, and those do play out in important situations, so. I know you'll beat me up.
Oh, yeah, 'cause that's kind of direct correlation. It's like the worry of any non-lethal device, whether it's a taser, whether it's CS, whether it's a baton, I mean, I can go down the list. A certain number of people are going to have a bad reaction from it.
Yeah, no, there's always gonna be a percent.
I mean, this or not buying this isn't going to stop that.
Right, I'm not saying it's gonna reduce incident, but it may reduce through escalation of force and.
Well, and we're still having a younger force, what we haven't seen over many years, so.
And a lot of those guys were the ones that used it the most while I was here, and a lot of them saw a lot of value from it. Felt a lot more confident when they went to use that device. We've already had a couple of deployments with the new tasers as well, so.
I'm glad to see the tasers. I mean, when I came on, it was a nice stick and gun, the nice stick didn't work,
And
So I'm glad to see things have improved and there's other options available.
we just we wanna make sure that we maintain the expectations of our officers, that they do the right thing for the right reason and are trained the best way that we can prepare them for the streets.
Couldn't argue about it.
There's a lot of violent subjects, and violence is only happening more, and this is a tool to keep them safe and help not have to use legal force. I definitely want to give them every option of training for it.
And I respect all of that, including the range time, cost of ammunition, trying to save on the overtime budget. I respect trying to be good stewards of money like all of them. That comes back to my problem, being good stewards of the money. I'm not sure this. I understand the other obstacles and other issues though, so I do respect that and listening it. And I do like the mathematical breakdown. I don't necessarily agree with it as far, but I like the attempt that she did. I think they talked about that with county officers, and I hope that helped. So yes, I like it that you laid it out mathematically wise, so I respect the memory.
I think
I think it's important, so I disagree with you.
That's okay. So that's a free country.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, that's okay. I mean, you know, we'll put it to a vote. The majority like it. Great. I'm okay with that. Then we're scrounging for money. I'll say, oh, good.
couple pennies to run for Brett.
Yeah,
Should we wait till, well, we can't wait, can we? Ed is here.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you guys could table it, but then you're gonna have that $7,000 cost escalation.
Yeah, yeah.
How much cost it?
Seven.
7,000?
And that's not even a confirmed amount.
Oh, we're probably over 4 years, I would say.
It could be more than that, we don't know for sure.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Sure, please.
Just a financial question. I'm just looking at the memo and you explained that it costs $7,000 for 4 hour.
That's for all officers to go and get trained. Kind of a. You know, like,
That's
it's just
for
kind of
all the
standard.
officers. So all the officers together are 7,000 or 7,000?
Yes, so all of our personnel, if you have the standard overtime range for officers to go and get trained, doing it on their off time, just like a combined, that's what it's,
Okay.
you know, rough estimate of the number, what it's probably gonna be.
So you're saying that if you don't spend this money, you're still gonna have,
That's all, I'm sorry, that's also with, the ammunition and all the other stuff that's part of it.
Right.
That's all in there, encompassing kind of that one big numbers. Usually what we spend per year when we do one of those like fire trainings.
How many TASER trainers do we have?
We have 4, we have one that's gonna go to master school next year.
Okay, are they all day shift, all on night shift?
No, we have actually, 3 of the 4 shifts are covered. So we have one shift that we're working on getting rid of.
Why could you do some training during shift?
That's the goal of VR.
So that all during shift time.
Well, it's still, I mean, you know, you got this, the problem with the live firing thing is they have to be here, they have to be paying attention to the PowerPoint, and they have to do the firing, they can't be, oh, I gotta run, oh, I gotta run, I gotta leave. It's just gonna take longer and longer. So it's kind of the opposite.
Not with the idea, I'm just. Don't price I say,
I understand.
you can miss the idea, do, I understand. I don't think they increase our liability not getting it, it's not look like.
Well, it's less of the smell of the building.
It's
Like
true.
we have.
That's what you love.
So the total cost is the 44,000.
That's over the 4 years, yeah. Due in January is the 11,017.
but you're saying that the total cost over 4 years did not, just the cost that we'll have anyway is gonna be that 7,000 times. Right?
I mean, yeah, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
so, I mean, so it's not like we're necessarily.
We still have to do one live
Spending
fire.
a new $11,000, we're only spending a new $4,000.
Yes,
Roughly,
yes.
for the increase.
And your 7,000, that's including you guys, that's including church ambos in there?
Yes,
What else?
Overtime.
overtime.
Yeah, I think there's some better scheduling that can be done to limit that overtime. I think that really needs to be sure, yeah. Go ahead, what else?
Does this replace range?
It will help with reducing range time, yes.
Instead of trying to go out to the range maybe 4 times a year, we can do maybe just 2, and then do some VR training and, I'm gonna keep that out of it.
So it won't completely eliminate the 48 plus that we would spend normally on the range and everything else, correct?
Calculating.
It won't completely eliminate that cost, but we still have to do some live firing, so it's still required, it's still be a live. At the range or at West, but it's just being able to increase the training, so it's not just those live firings, all we're presenting into our officers, we're presenting them a lot more opportunities.
They'll be able to do more and not spend them. They'll be able to do more training with that.
So then what you guys have figured is that the overall cost savings would be $84,000.
If we were to do a monthly training live firing, it would be about 84,000.
84,000.
A year, for us just to do live firing.
Yeah.
Basically with cost.
There you go, right?
They're not. I know cops who will, yeah, the good ones, God bless them, love each and every one of them, they good one.
Well, that's part of the policy and procedures.
Is there another, acts on the only game in town, or was there a question?
Well, there are other training VRs, but not working with TASER. TASER is proprietary to Axon, that is them, that's what they.
Yeah.
So, there are different VRs you can do, but it's not.
Well, they're the industry leader right now.
They are not making that device.
And they have been quite some time. They're not going anywhere.
I would have to agree with them that they're not really even, no, they are.
No, there's other devices, but it's just not that device.
Okay, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Axon virtual reality training device, not to exceed $44,052.62 over 48 months.
I'll second it. I have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nay? Ayes have it, 3-1.
Thank you.
It's a democracy.
Thank you very much.
When we do receive the equipment, we will definitely invite you to.
I think.
And I don't want to see those training laws, everybody.
You got it.
Will
Don't miss one.
not be. Say, here it is, though.
Oh, this is me, so, yeah. Oh, okay, so we're not doing the same building.
And you're apparently not.
Yeah, that's what I.
I jumped way back.
Really don't care.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Ben kind of took over, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I didn't want, I didn't want them to get a turn.
Don't help it. Now your call.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is consideration of the findings of fact, for the unsafe building. So at your last meeting, we held the hearing. And the council, approved, or affirmed the unsafe building order. And we said we would come back to you with findings of fact. So those are in your packet, and the attorneys have prepared those. If you have questions, happy to answer them. It's pretty straightforward, but essentially, the evidence that was provided to you is entered into those findings as well as the discussion we had.
Does anybody have any additional questions on that, on our consideration of this finding? If not, I'll take a motion.
Motion that we approve. As presented.
I'll second.
I've got a motion and a second on that we, find, we have to do like a true finding, is that the terminology you guys want to use, and how you want to do it? Yeah, a true finding on the facts presented at last council meeting regarding this consideration for the unsafe building. Any additional discussion? I'll take a vote. All those in favor? Aye. 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 Opposed? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I will give it up and burn that ground, and not get it back up. Hold that.
That's just because I'm quick.
I almost jumped up again and now it's Erity's turn, so the comments this time.
What else do you do? Do what?
Just after that last.
Mike, you made the motion in a second.
Yeah, you did, yeah, that's all right.
I did my motion.
Second.
Okay, next item for business is the, from, Treasurer Solomon is going to be the consideration of, resolution of transfer of, funds 2025-15.
This is our end of year transfer, all of the amounts zero out, we're just moving from one line item to another. So, within each fund and department, it's, the net is zero. And I,
And I looked at the other forms you sent out, it looked like most of the budget line items are doing pretty good that I can see.
yeah. Yeah, they are. I mean, we've had to move some stuff around because you. Yeah, and we obviously we did some additional appropriations.
Last week, right?
Yep.
Okay, anybody have any questions? I'll take a motion.
Move.
Oh, second. I have a motion and a second. Any additional conversation? All those in favor of 2025-15, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, opposed? Okay. Podium is yours if you would.
Fine.
Eagerly awaited.
Introduction ordinance 2025-21, light duty policy.
I just get really excited about HR policies and the handbooks and that's kind of. Just for introduction, it amends our employee handbook, FMLA code and some other areas that fall within. Just talked about job restoration and medical leave and how that is supposed to go and gives employees structure for that. Talks about being able to fill that role if they're on leave and making efforts for restoration. But light duty policy is added. That's something that we talked about. We've had issues with in the past. We've never clearly stated that we don't actually really have designated light duty positions. However, if we have reasonable accommodation that we can make with a letter from a medical provider, we do so. Then we're talking about medical certification requirement for return to work. So that's really what this policy would do for introduction.
I know myself and the chief have been talking about this, because this has been problems over a couple of point issues. We were talking about this, when I was on police commission, going back several years ago now. When I was reading this today, basically we're lining up with federal law, unless there's an extenuating circumstance. Once FMLA is over, likely the exception is over, is that correct?
That's correct.
I believe that lines up with federal law, so. I was glad to see that, I think that makes it clean.
Yeah. I mean, that may be a situation where, and I think your policy addresses it, but there may be a situation, even if they've exhausted the FMLA, if they still need time off under the ADA, you gotta at least consider additional leave as an accommodation, but.
And I would tell you, I think that has a lot more to do with an on-duty injury versus an off-duty injury. If somebody's out there serving the community, protecting them, they get hurt, yeah, I think we're a lot more likely to say, okay, let's try to figure this out.
Yeah, no.
Thanks, man. Yep. Number 2, consideration of ordinance, recodification proposal.
Yes, you guys have this in your packet. I apologize, I normally try to have a memo for this. But this is part of our efforts to get everything codified and online and keep it routinely updated. American Legal is kind of standard nationally for this type of service. You look at pretty much probably the majority of municipalities, cities and towns within central Indiana, you can find their code, their subdivision control ordinances and the things developers look for, things citizens look for, you find it on American Legal. It's something, we get a lot of questions on our code from staff and citizens and developers pretty routinely, so trying to streamline that, make it easier for everyone. We're asking for consideration for the base price with the addition of chapter 153 and 157, which is where you get your development ordinance and standards. Year one startup cost also. So the base price is at $11,975. Those additional chapters, those heavy development chapters are $6,400. Year one startup is $795. So that total cost is $19,170. Year over year cost after that's about $550 plus about $20 per ordinance. So we'd probably be around $800 a year afterwards. So
Again, Ben and I talked today on this, because my first question is to do this, what do the attorneys do with this, and just so they can. So I said, that's a mistake. And I did ask Ben, he had already done it, so hats off to him, he already ran the numbers to see where our first impact will be. We do an average of 20 to 25 ordinances, I believe that's what's coming up with the money amount. As to around $800-900, and we do our normal amount of ordinances, it should run us yearly, both the maintenance fee and the ordinance fee. So we talked them, couple hours with this. I was satisfied with it, and this is basically, A, put everything online so the public, and B, to kind of bring it more in, requirements of what everybody else is doing, I assume.
Yeah, and it fully codifies it. Anytime we have new ordinance, they send it, update chapters, remove kind of the previous references. There's an option to leave all the previous references if you guys wanted to add that. I don't see a need for it now. But something good. It also makes the code searchable for any user that's going to look for something, going through the entire document that they're searching through like this references online. So, we're one of the last holdouts really from going this direction.
Do I have any questions? I was pretty satisfied with things.
That goes to the police department in some way.
So, yeah, that total I'm asking you guys to consider, letting us move forward with not to exceed again is $19,970. So, and it's
Did you ask
about,
about the police department orders? Did you ask about the police department?
No, I think it's kind of similar in
Oh,
the
yeah.
update,
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
Because that's the whole, it's
That's
yeah,
right.
it's also.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
I want to note too, there is a 6 to 9 month startup time with it as well, so it's not gonna be like next month that it's going to be up and live, so. And this will live on their webpage and links to our webpage, and also when we push ordinance out, and push that out on social media things as well, so go directly to that.
Yeah, no, it's a good comparison, but yeah, we're the same idea. Any other questions for Bill on this? I'll take motions.
I'll make a motion that we, approve the contract with American Legal Publishing, to recodify our ordinances, not to exceed $19,170.
Okay, on the initial year. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, all the, any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Ayes have it. And I believe you have a request for a motion on the last item, right, Mr. Woods?
Yeah, but I'm requesting consideration for tabling.
Can I get a motion and a second on table the scan issue for paperwork?
Move.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second, any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The low ayes have it. Thank you, sir. Council comments.
I have one question for Christine. I know we have the ordinance about semis not parking. What about a dump truck? And if not, we need to add.
If there's a location where that's, send it to me or have them send, a look at how we wrote it. I feel like we wrote it in such a way that we.
Okay, there's a dump truck that's been parked across from my house for a couple days now in my neighborhood.
Is it ours?
No. No,
Sounds about.
It's like,
Is it on the street or in a driveway?
it's on the street.
Okay, so that's separate.
Okay.
We did, the ordinance we did was for parking on private property.
Okay, that's
But we'll have to look, I'm not sure, because it's a public street, you can park vehicles, but we do have some.
I understand
oversized
that with the
vehicles.
semi on public streets in neighborhoods. So I just don't know about
We'll look here.
the dump truck, and if we don't, maybe we need to update it.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, it's probably somebody that's dating somebody and like, we're not gonna have a dump truck parked in the neighborhood. Anyway,
if we can also look at the vehicle weights and stuff like that.
yeah,
So,
I mean, at first I thought, well, they're gonna be doing something for somebody or delivering or something, you know, or cleaning something out, but I don't think that's the case, so.
And it's parking overnight.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, I could text and let you know if it's not there when I go home,
Yeah,
but it's been there for a couple days.
okay.
Anybody else? I got a couple things, which are, they're more on the lighter side of the topics. We did the meeting in 3 minutes. So. The other thing is, I think we should all require that Ben wear Argyle socks so he can pull off the Payne Stewart look.
Oh my God, yeah. And having a golf club sit right behind you, absolutely. I like that.
I'll place an order tonight.
That's good. Mr. Lips, what do we got on future agenda items you want to talk about?
Gonna bring back the ordinance from tonight, gonna bring back some other options. Everett is working on compost sales and distribution policy. We have a lot of it, and we have some commercial, people that are interested in it and be willing to pay for it. Some other towns are selling it, and people have to get rid of it. So that's. Mark Flint and I've been working, a couple different legislative things. He's been keeping me updated. There was a couple of questionable sanitary utility regulatory things him and I talked about, and some other things he's keeping me aware of. So I think I want to try to talk after our next meeting, like adjourn to work session, talk about some of the active bills and some of the things we can talk to our reps about and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Anything else we do with the order? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
All right.